Welcome back, everybody, to the sessions on power electronics by Ramana. This is the ninth session in the series, which is a continuing session of the topics discussed in the session 8, which are SCR turn-off and commutation. SCR turn-off and commutation. In the previous session, we have discussed the importance of turn-off. What is the turn-off procedure, commutation, classification of commutations, and we have elaborately discussed the class A, B and C commutations. In this session, we will be discussing the other commutation procedures C, D and E, and also then we will have some discussion on these commutation techniques and compare them in terms of the circuitry, their procedures, their cost, their volume and their usage. To start with, in this session we will be discussing class D type of commutation. Class D type of commutation. Class D type of commutation is also known as impulse type of commutation, as a voltage in the form of a sudden pulse. A voltage in the form of a sudden pulse will be applied across the main SCR to turn it off. That is why it is called as impulse type of commutation. But also, as we employ an extra SCR or another SCR just similar to the class C commutation, this is also called as auxiliary commutation. The main SCR, SCR1 is the actual SCR which will be carrying the load current for most of the time. Is the load current and SCR current, and the auxiliary SCR is shown as SCR2. And the other components used are a capacitor C and an inductor and a diode. The C, D and L will be mainly forming the commutating components along with auxiliary SCR. This circuit can be employed in different fashions, where you can use only C or LC as in the previous circuits. C or LC switched by an auxiliary SCR2 turns off the main SCR1. How it works, we shall go through the procedure, and accordingly the waveforms will be there. Just go through them according to the procedure. How when the gate triggering pulses are given, load current is assumed to be constant, how the SCR current flows, how the capacitor current is flowing, what about the voltage drop across the SCR, and then during the turn off, how the reverse voltage is applied, all those things. Just similar to the class C, the load current is carried by the main SCR and the other acts as only an auxiliary turn-off SCR. But for a very limited time, load current will also flow through SCR2, that we shall see. To start with the actual circuit, the SCR2 must be triggered first. Just after switching on the source, the total circuit will be off, both SCRs will be off, no conduction will be taking place. In that condition, capacitor charge will be 0. Now we have to turn on auxiliary SCR. Because of this, the load current flows via the source, capacitor, auxiliary SCR and the load RL and back to the source. SCR1 or main SCR is off, and also this diode is off in this direction, or in this path and this path no current will be flowing, only the current will be flowing only the path through source, capacitor, auxiliary SCR and the load. So with this flow of current through the load in this given path, the capacitor charge to build up, and eventually it builds up to the voltage equal to source voltage, or capacitor voltage becomes equal to source voltage, where upper plate will be charged to positive and lower plate will be charged to negative. That is your capacitor current, how it built up. And once capacitor voltage becomes equal to source voltage, there will not be any further current flow allowed, or capacitor will be blocking the total DC. The SCR2 or auxiliary SCR will be automatically turned off. Now both voltage source and capacitor are having the required energy, but as SCR1 and D both are turned off, no current flow will take place. Now when you trigger the main SCR by giving a triggering pulse to the gate, or SCR turns on, main SCR turns on, then current will have two paths. The main current, which is shown, this is the actual load current and main current, it will be flowing via the source, the main SCR and the load, and the capacitor, which has been charged to a voltage equal to the source voltage, will also discharge via this positive place, main SCR, the inductor and the forward bias diode back to the negative plate. SCR2 will oppose the current, or the capacitor will be discharging the current via the main SCR through the inductor and the diode. And as the inductor opposes the change in current, the current will gradually decrease to 0 again. It will decrease to 0, and in this process what happens is, now the capacitor gets charged in reverse, where bottom plate becomes positive and the upper plate becomes negative. And the current flow in this particular path will stop, but the main current, load current, will continue to flow from the source via the main SCR to the load. So this is where the current through the main SCR is more in this case, and after that capacitor current when it becomes 0, the current flowing through the SCR will be only this much, and SCR or the current is still flowing. Now when you want to turn off the main SCR, you need not do anything. The values of the capacitor time constant and the inductance will be chosen such that once the capacitor builds up voltage in the reverse, that is bottom plate to positive and upper plate to negative, and obviously this diode automatically gets reverse bias or turns off, and SCR2 will turn on, or auxiliary SCR2 will turn on, because its anode is connected to the then positive plate of the capacitor. Now capacitor current flows via this auxiliary SCR and will oppose the anode current or main SCR current. Main SCR current will fall to 0 and some reverse recovery current flows. It will take certain time to become 0 again, turn off, will be completed over at this spot. So as soon as the capacitor discharges in the forward direction, that is via the main SCR, L, G and to this bottom plate, when the total charge becomes reversed, total polarity of the capacitor becomes reversed, that is bottom plus and upper plate negative, then diode will be blocked. At the same time, auxiliary SCR will turn on. Now the capacitor starts to release the current via the auxiliary SCR, which will oppose the main SCR anode current, and eventually it will turn off. And thus again, by the end of this process, the upper plate of the capacitor becomes positive and bottom plate becomes negative, which is just identical to the starting condition. That is, when VC and VDC become equal, the SCR2 will turn off. When SCR1, main SCR is triggered on, the current flows in two paths. Load current flows through SCR1 and load, and the commutating current flows through C, SCR1, L and D. When SCR2 is re-triggered, this is nothing but capacitor current. It will not commutate the SCR in this phase. But when SCR2 is re-triggered, the charging polarity of C reverses to apply a reverse voltage. SCR1, SCR2 and SCR1 is turned off. That is what which happens in this case. Just we will go through again some useful animation to go through this explanation.
And a capacitor.
The same as capacitor is initially charged, that is SCR or auxiliary SCR was triggered, so it is charged. Load current is constant. When the auxiliary SCR is turned on, current flows from source, capacitor, auxiliary SCR and the load. This is the starting condition in which capacitor will get charged like this, plus minus. And as soon as capacitor voltage becomes equal to source voltage, there will not be any further current flow in the path or through the load and auxiliary SCR. Auxiliary SCR will turn off. Now when you turn on the SCR1, the current flow is as shown in the main path circuit, main SCR and the load, and the other current is capacitor current flowing through the main SCR, L and D back. In this process, eventually the bottom plate of the capacitor becomes positive, upper plate becomes negative. So this diode anode will get positive, diode cathode will be become more positive, so it will be turned off, or it cannot be conducting, it will be blocked. Once this path is closed, then capacitor current now starts to flow through the auxiliary SCR when it is triggered with its gate pulse. When a gate pulse is given to the auxiliary SCR when required, then capacitor current flows in this path where it opposes the main anode to cathode current, or this current will flow in opposite. So because of this commutating current opposing the main SCR or anode current, SCR will be turned off. SCR will be turned off, and the current continues to flow via this SCR and the auxiliary SCR through the load, which is the starting condition. So that is how class D or impulse type of commutation circuit works. It is also called as parallel commutation, or one of the procedures which can be called as voltage commutation also. The auxiliary SCR will also carry load current for some time, where in case of class C, auxiliary SCR will be carrying the load current for longer times when compared to class D. So that is all about class D. Again, these waveforms we will have a quick look where we can have a MATLAB simulation where class D commutation circuit is designed in the MATLAB when the simulation is done. So this is what we have discussed: capacitor, main SCR, auxiliary SCR, LD, and voltage source, and the load. When you run the simulation, we will get the waveform and various gate, all those voltages. This is gate pulse for the main SCR, load output voltage. So these things one can go through, which are abundantly available in the internet, to understand the waveforms, and also whatever procedures we are discussing over here, just according to those procedures, when you go through different waveforms, it will be self-understandable. And the next type of commutation is class E commutation. Class E commutation which is also called as external pulse commutation. Why external pulse? Means an external pulse, externally generated pulse will be given in opposite to the actual main SCR which is carrying the load current to turn it off. And this external pulse can be generated in many ways. In this particular circuit, a pulse transformer is employed which is connected to a pulse generator. Just to understand this circuit, the load current flows from the and the load. That is, load is connected to the actual source via the winding of the pulse transformer. So because of this, there may be some voltage drop inside the transformer winding, but these problems are taken care while designing the pulse transformer, which will have very less voltage drop when this load current flows through its winding. And also a capacitor is connected in parallel across the SCR, which will be acting as the required commutating component when the pulse external pulse is given. When the external pulse is given in the opposite. Just to understand the working of the circuit, when gate pulse is given, current flows via the SCR, the transformer winding and the load current. And also, just similar to the previous circuit, this capacitor should be charged positive and negative, just similar to the previous circuit. So capacitor will be making an extra current to flow through the SCR and the transformer winding back to its negative plate, which is shown with this spike for the SCR current. So load current will be only this much, but SCR current will be more during this period. And during this process, just similar to the previous case, bottom plate becomes positive and upper plate becomes negative, and load current continues to flow through the SCR as well as the load. Now when you want to turn off the SCR, it is not automatic like resonant commutation or the previous complementary and class D type of commutations, but here a pulse of high magnitude and short duration will be generated by a pulse generator and applied to the winding of the transformer, which is secondary in this case when seen from the circuit, completing circuit, and this pulse will be applied in reverse. Which will oppose the anode current or main SCR current, and it cannot enter the source voltage, but it has to flow through the capacitor and back to the winding, and load will not get any current. In this period after the turn off. After the full turn off is over, load will not be getting any current. So when a reverse pulse is given by the pulse transformer, it opposes the SCR current, or current flows in this direction via the capacitor back. For that, capacitor was already plus minus in reverse, but it can still flow because it would have built up to a very less voltage of the order of just a 1 volt, which can be acting like a short circuit. Or you can imagine that while turn off, a pulse will be generated, simply current flows to oppose the main SCR in this short circuited path via this transformer winding. So that can be understood like this: when SCR1 is triggered, the load current flows through the primary of the pulse transformer. The pulse transformer should be able to carry the load current with a small voltage drop, compared to the supply voltage. Otherwise, load will be getting lesser voltages and current will be less. So pulse transformer design should be such that the voltage drop in its primary winding should be as less as possible, because for these reasons this pulse transformer is designed to be operated under saturation region, in this case where a tight coupling will be given. To turn SCR off, a positive pulse is applied to the cathode of the SCR from an external pulse via the pulse transformer. Positive pulse to the cathode means cathode is positive with respect to anode, so current flows in the upward direction. The capacitor C is charged to about 1 volt only previous to this condition, and for the duration of the turn off pulse, it can be considered to have zero impedance. Zero impedance means you can assume that it is just like a short, current can flow easily. Thus, the pulse from the transformer reverses the voltage across the SCR and supplies the reverse recovery current and holds the voltage negative for the required turn off time. It holds the pulse negative for the required turn off time to be over completely, so that this main SCR off and current to the load will be completely cut off. and this particular circuit is employing external pulse generator via a pulse transformer, which requires very cautious and accurate design of the pulse transformer and the pulse generator. You have to tune the pulse generator frequency to suit to the turn on and turn off durations of the SCR. That can be done, but the bulk or volume of the circuit will increase. There may be some noises, cost will be more. We shall see some other circuits which are available, which are mainly employed. Just when you go through this circuit, it is shown here. This is the pulse transformer circuit which we have discussed, and this one is shown here. This is where source voltage, main SCR and the load are shown like this. This is the actual circuit, and this is the capacitor which is connected in parallel with the load. And when you observe, the commutating components are C and L, a series L, and two more SCRs are employed for this. When you turn on the main SCR, load will be getting its current. That is straightforward, but the commutating is from this part of the circuit, where this commutating circuit will be given with a separate supply. For that purpose, you have to first turn on this SCR. You can use other power electronic devices also, but to get tuned to the turn on and turn off times and capacitor discharging times, an SCR is employed over here. When this is turned on, the capacitor gets charged to 2V1. The supply, if this supply voltage is 1, it will get charged to 2V1, which will be more than Vs, and when you want to turn off the main SCR, then you will trigger this SCR2, and this circuit is already turned off as this SCR is already turned off. So capacitor will discharge via this SCR2 and the load, and this current will also oppose the forward current through main SCR or the anode current. So the commutating current via SCR2 will oppose the current through SCR1. SCR2 will be turned off. This time current will be flowing through the load. Only after the total turn off takes place, load current will become 0, and this C falls to a voltage, and when due to this decrease in voltage, when SCR2 the current, the forward current of SCR2 falls below the holding current, it turns off, and again SCR3 will be turned off to charge this capacitor, and according to the requirements of the circuit, SCR1 will be again turned on for the load current to flow. So this is how the circuit works. Another circuit is also there, which will go through simply, where this pulse transformer, which we have already discussed, this is replaced by a simple NPN transistor with a separate voltage source, and the biasing voltage and currents of this NPN transistor are tuned to the turn on and turn off of the main SCR. Whenever you want to turn off the main SCR, there should be current flowing via this external source from the emitter of the transistor to oppose the main SCR current to turn it off. So proper tuning should be there between this part of the circuit to suit to the circuit turn off time. So this is another external pulse commutation circuit. Likewise, as we have already discussed in the previous class also, all the commutation circuits which we have discussed so far in these sessions, they can be employed or connected in different fashion also. So that is now about class E or external pulse commutation, which is nothing but a voltage commutation. And all these class A, B, C, D and E commutations are for DC circuits where you don't have any natural zero. You have to forcefully turn off the main SCR. That is why these are called forced commutations. According to our classification, this is the broad classification, a bigger classification. The other type which we have to discuss is the only leftover one, which is natural commutation or class F commutation. It is natural commutation or class F or line commutation or phase commutation also. As we have already discussed, this is for the circuits employing or loads employing AC voltage sources, or this is for AC circuits. As when the line voltage becomes zero at a particular point, main SCR will be turned off. That is why it is called line commutation, or also phase commutation when the voltage applied across the SCR changes its phase from positive to negative or negative to positive half cycle, then it automatically gets turned off. So this is called as phase commutation also. If the supply is an alternating voltage, load current will flow during the positive half cycle or only in one half cycle. This is the simplest case of the simple rectifier circuit, which we already know, where an SCR is connected in series with the load. Once you switch on the supply, when forward breakover voltage is reached or some gate pulse is given to turn on the SCR at lesser breakover voltages, SCR conducts, load current flows. Load current flows. Load current will be just taking the path similar to voltage or source voltage. If the load is simply resistive, both source voltage and load voltage and load current will be in the same phase. At the same instant, when the source voltage becomes zero, load current will also become zero, and immediately or continuously and instantly we can say that the source will be applying reverse voltage across the SCR, that is positive to cathode and negative to anode. Now the reverse voltage will be applied immediately, and for a total half cycle reverse voltage will be applied across it, or simply to block the SCR in the reverse direction. So both the conditions, that is to turn off an SCR, the forward anode current should become zero and a reverse voltage should be applied so that SCR will regain its blocking position, forward blocking position. This is immediately and automatically achieved. You need not do anything. You need not employ any other commutating circuits. That is why it is also called as natural commutation. When you compare the natural commutation with forced commutations, no commutatory circuits are required, or simply the cost is less. This is automatic, no problem of all the resonances, noises and other things. Just go through the procedure once again. With a highly inductive load, in this figure, load is taken to be resistive, current and voltage are in positive. When a load is inductive or capacitive, take the case of inductive load. When the inductive load is there, current will be lagging behind the voltage by an angle phi, and even after the voltage becomes zero, forward current will be there and it becomes zero. So it will take certain time for turn off. With a highly inductive load, the current may remain continuous for some time till the energy trapped in the load inductance is dissipated. That is with the lagging angle. Then the SCR will turn off when the load current becomes zero naturally during the negative half cycle. The duration of the half cycle is definitely longer than the turn-off time of the SCR. The negative polarity of the voltage appearing across the outgoing SCR turns it off, as the reverse voltage persists well beyond the rated turn-off time of the device. In this circuit, we have discussed only a single phase, single SCR, or this is a half-wave rectification circuit, where eventually the load is getting only currents in only one half cycle. In a given full cycle, current is flowing through the load for only one half cycle. This is half wave rectification. If we want to make the load current to flow in the other also, then it will be full wave rectification, where it will be a full wave rectified circuit, where you have to employ two SCRs, may it be in a center type of transformer configuration or bridge type of configuration. Those things will be discussed in other sessions. So this is natural commutation or AC commutation or line or phase commutation, which is simplest of the all. So with these things we will with these things we have discussed all the working procedures and the circuits of the commutation circuits. Just we will go through the summary of whatever we have discussed so far in these both sessions 7 and 8. Importance of SCR, turn off and commutation, classification of SCR commutation techniques, working of SCR commutation circuits, comparison of various SCR commutation. We will compare them just in a moment. Before that, we will go through some quiz. To start with, the comparison between take the quiz question 2. Class A commutation can also be called as Class A commutation can also be called as, it is load commutation. This commutation will also imply resonant commutating components with the load, but the actual turn off will be due to the underdamping nature. There will not be any sort of resonating pulse. So Class A commutation is called as load commutation, but don't get confused with resonant pulse commutation. The answer is load commutation. Class F commutation can also be called as, it is the one which we have just discussed. It is line commutation or natural commutation or AC commutation or phase commutation. Class F commutation is AC line commutation. Class E commutation can also be called as, it is external pulse commutation. Class E commutation is done by using voltage source, external pulse source, internal pulse. It is by a voltage source in the form of pulse which is external to the circuit. So voltage source is not proper answer. Proper answer is external pulse source, which can be through a pulse transformer or other circuits. Class C commutation can also be called as, it is a straightforward thing where you can understand it as complementary commutation. Class D can also be called as, is impulse commutation. Class D commutation is impulse commutation, where Class C and Class D both employ auxiliary SCRs, but depending on their working, an impulse voltage will be applied in class D. It is called impulse commutation. In class C commutation, main SCR and auxiliary SCR will be complementing each other to turn on and off one after the other because of the other. So it is called as complementary commutation. Class D is called as impulse commutation. Class B commutation can also be called as, this is the one we have discussed in the starting of the quiz. It is resonant pulse commutation. Resonant pulse commutation, where a pulse will be applied in opposition to the anode current or SCR forward current because of the resonant nature of the commutating components L and C, which are connected in parallel with the SCR. It is resonant pulse commutation. So all the working procedures and techniques with proper circuit diagrams and waveforms have to be understood and explained properly when asked for your assignment works or examinations. Explain the working of class A, B, C, D, E, F, or with different names. They can be given external pulse commutation or impulse commutation or line commutation or resonant pulse commutation or complementary commutation. Likewise, we have to explain. And also, importantly, you have to understand the concepts, how these classification is developed, how it is actually classified. Classify various types of commutation, starting right from natural and forced commutation. Forced again A, B, C, D and E, and natural only one. And also how to classify the A, B, C, D and E are forced commutations depending on the procedures of voltage or current. Voltage commutation, current commutation also you have to understand. Next, compare various types of commutation. Compare various types of commutation. Just go to the classification which we have already gone through, where you can go through the names, it becomes easier. Both class A and B are some sort of resonant circuit, imply resonant circuits, where the resonant components or commutating components will be in resonance with the load, so that it will be in underdamping nature and current will be automatically decreasing to 0. Whereas in class B, commutating components L and C will be in resonance and connected in parallel with the SCR to turn it off. Complementary commutation and auxiliary or impulse commutation, they employ extra SCR or auxiliary SCRs. So drawback of these two commutation techniques is they employ another SCR, and also this SCR will carry load current at least for some time, so they have to be rated as equal to the main SCR. That is a disadvantage, and cost will be more. But complementary commutation will be simplest and automatic when compared to the other two. And because of the resonating components in class A and B, more noise will be there. More noise in the waveform will be there. When it comes to external pulse commutation, again they employ more circuitry and more components. Pulse transformer becomes bigger, or other transistors and SCRs which we have discussed in the previous circuits. Again, cost will be more, volume will be more. Next, natural is the only commutation, or class F or line commutation is the only commutation. It is the only commutation which can be used for AC commutation, where you can control the turn on, and it automatically gets turned off because of the opposite cycle of voltage appearing across the given SCR. So that is all for now in this session. With this we have completed the unit 1. With this we have completed the unit 1. in which the main course objective is to understand the working of power electronic devices and choose proper power electronic device to suit to a given application. And in this unit we have discussed SCR, GTO SCR, DIAC, TRIAC, LASCR. Thank you.